All right, guys. So I want to go over the Fab Four with you guys a little bit. Also, the narrow states, really dialing in. Um, if you get a move in the upward direction and then a larger pullback in the downward direction, it's not always a time for shorts. So I'm kind of want to get into that a little bit on this chart here on Tesla. This was Friday, so right here, what we have is this was Thursday and then this was Friday. It's separating by these lines here. Okay. So what I do is I want to grab the last 45 minutes of Thursday. Okay. So Friday's irrelevant at this point. I just go from here, back a little bit, and then I'll find the 45-minute mark. So it's about right there. So what I do is mark the highest point of this, which will be right here, and then the lowest point, which is the candle that I'm on right here. So this is the lowest, this is the highest point of that. So I would go from the low and drag it all the way over to the right to where the day stops, just like that. Now inside of this box as well, as you know, is going to be the 200 SMA, which is this blue line, and it's going to be the 20 SMA, which is this orange line, right? So right here, immediately before the market opens, I'm already thinking that if we open above this Fab 4, then my bias is long for the day. And if we open below the Fab 4, my bias would be short for the day. It's a very simple approach. Doesn't take long to mark this out. There's no pre-market, there's no after hours, right? So right here, after we got the open, we got a green candle right above. Now it's not the best green candle, but it's still a green candle nonetheless in the upward direction, right? So we have our bias already. So we're thinking that price would like to continue up. So immediately from here, what we need to take note of is the states of the SMA. So right here inside of this Fab 4 box, they're narrow. They're right on top of each other. They're very tight, right? In order for us to take a move, in order for us to get into a trade, we need a trend to start. So I need a move to come from this flat area and burst out this way while the 200 relatively stays the same or relatively flat, right? I say this all the time. This is, imagine you squeezing something like this. This is going to get a move. If the Fab 4 is in a narrow state like this, the SMAs are tight together, the open can cause a nice momentum move from this narrow state. So right here, I'm just taking note of this, right? There's really not, right here we have another green candle, boom, we have another green candle. Price is moving in the upward direction here, and we're starting to get the trend of the 20 in the upward direction. This is all good for what we want to see for long bias, right? So after this, we keep moving, and right here we get a little engulfing. Price engulfs this. We get a little, right here we get that little engulfing. Price engulfs that previous green candle with a little bit of rejection. So at this point, we're still trending upward on the 20 away from this narrow state, right? We're still above this Fab 4, right? Our bias is still long on this. So whenever I see this candle, I'm hoping for a nice pullback into this 20 SMA, right? When that happens, I have 5 entry events that can happen in that location to be valid, and that will get me in the trade, right? So this is what I'm thinking already when I'm seeing this. We get some pullback here, we get a little green candle, we get more pullback, right to the 20 SMA, right? We're sitting right at the 20 SMA, and the 20 is still trending upward, coming from this narrow state, right? The top of the Fab 4, the high, right? The top of that Fab 4 is right here. That's the support of the highest point of the last 45 minutes that we marked on our Fab 4. So what we do is we continue to wait. What I want to see here at this 20 SMA, I would like to have seen this green candle fully engulf this white candle. That would have been a color change engulfing right at a trending 20. That's an entry event, right? So that didn't happen here fully. So we wait just a little bit to see if price really wants to continue that upward direction or if it wants to break this Fab 4, right? Now, right here, we're getting a little bit of consolidation right on top of that 20, right? So the 20 is acting as some sort of support, some sort of floor here. I'm taking note of this immediately. Also, paired with this 20 is the support of this top Fab 4 level, right? So we continue to wait, and price is really just right on that 20, consolidating. Nothing really too crazy, no real entry events, no real moves yet, just consolidating, trying to figure out what it wants to do, but it's having trouble breaking down from this level and this 20 SMA here. So I'm taking note of this. This Fab 4 is holding nicely along with this 20. Right here we get a nice move up. Love that. That's still, you could technically say that this would be clearing this consolidation right here, and I could see a valid reason to enter that. But to be a little bit more safe, I waited on this. We did this live. One of my students took this trade. Right here we have a nice little hammer right on top of that 20 after a green, solid green power that broke above the consolidation. So right here, once we saw this live when it happened, this is something I talk about all the time. The double tails, very powerful in the right location. So since we opened above this Fab 4, since this 20 SMA is trending up and above, it's trending up and away from the narrow state right here, right? And this Fab 4 level is holding. We're not getting any continuating breakdown from this. Once I see this double hammer right here, this is the entry event. This is the entry event with the first target being the highs. That's the first target. So this is one of the 5 entry events that I talk about in my PDF. This is one of the things that gets me in a trade. There's only 5. There's only 5 reasons I would enter a trade, and I don't enter the trade just because one of them happened. I only enter the trade when one of them happens in a valid location. So stocks are a lot like real estate. It's location, location, location all the time. There's only valid opportunities and valid entries in the right location, not just because you get green or you get red. Right? So right here, this is where my student took this live. We noticed these topping tails or bottoming tails right here, and then my student got in on this entry event at the trending 20. The stop loss is underneath the low of the entry event, so right down below these double hammers here, that would be the stop loss. Right? So boom, boom. We're just stop losses here. So we're just holding this area. We're aiming for these highs here. The 20 is holding very nicely above this Fab 4 high. And then obviously right here, look at this beautiful hammer right at the 20, and then you get a nice power bar after that hammer. This told me that we're going to take these highs no problem. And then obviously, as you see, we did. When price got back down near that 20, look what happened. Got a little bit of a move up. Right here, we get a color change engulfing. We get a color change engulfing. And then finally, we break the 20 here, right? So the reason why I'm still looking for longs, even though we have this pullback after this move up. right? So a lot of people would think, okay, this is weakness, that the wicks right here are weakness. We're dropping all the way down. If we break this low here, boom, I'm going to enter for a continuation move to the downside. I could see that, but what my strategy calls for is we're still above this Fab 4. My bias of long will never change until price fully gets below both of these SMAs and the Fab 4 low. That's when my bias starts to flip and I start to look for retracements, pullbacks, and then moves to the downside. But until that happens, I am always long. So this right here is just setting me up for a potential move to the highs again. That's it. That's all. So nothing too crazy and mind-blowing here, but you can see how the move up was the opening move, and then we have that downward move, which could trap a lot of people. If you're thinking you're long because you're above the Fab 4 and you're getting green and you're going, you have to wait on that valid entry event to happen in the right location. That's what it's all about. So that was a great move. Nothing too crazy. There's a beautiful move. I just want to upload this because I wanted to show you guys how, even though we're getting more red, or white in my case, we're getting more red here than we are green, even though we opened above the Fab 4, the bias should never change until you fully reject all of these supports. Until all these 20, the 200, the levels, the Fab 4, all of that gets broken, and then your bias would switch to the opposite direction. If it's above, my bias is staying above. My bias is staying long. Right, so I've got a couple other ones I'm going to show you guys, but I'm going to upload this one first. Okay, nothing too crazy here, but very simple. This is all a 2-minute chart. Doesn't take long to mark out, and you just wait on the move to come to you. So when you see this green, don't just enter because you're above the Fab 4 and the 20 starting to trend and you're starting. Wait on the move to come to you. Wait on that entry event model to come to you. When it comes to you, then go, hey, there it is. But where is the location? Is it in the right location? Oh, no, it's not. It's below the 20. That's not valid for me. Oh, yeah, it is. The 20 is trending upward from a narrow state. The 200 is flattish underneath it. We get in a color change here. This is valid. Let me enter that. This is the mindset that you need. But yeah, just wanted to show you guys that. Awesome. All right, see you there.